Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Libra, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of March. I hope you are. Rather unusually, we're using the Shadowscapes for you today. I don't think I've ever used it for Libra before. I was so surprised I had to go around all of my cards twice just to make sure that it definitely was this, and it was. So it's interesting. It's actually a deck that seems to have aligned itself most closely with Pisces over the last 18 months or so. So already, you know, we're into realms of the emotional and sort of, you know, let's not prejudge anything before it comes out. If the reading resonates with you, there will be an extended at the end that you can access. There's a link down in the description box. And also, I have done a 6-month overview for each of the signs. Runs from January to June, and that's available via the link in the description box too. So if that's something you're interested in, go check it out. Obviously, if you support me on Patreon at the higher tier, you get all of that included anyway. So let's just shut that window because I'm going to start cussing otherwise. So 3 cards for Libra, please. 3 cards for Libra. Well, we've got 2 for your recent past. We have the Chariot and we have the 2 of Cups. Present energy, 6 of Swords. Okay, it's going towards Libra. We have the Page of Pentacles. This I like, actually. We have the Queen of Cups at the bottom of the deck. That is, it's, you know, the Queen of Cups is water of water. She is the most receptive queen of all of them. And I love the way that she can just walk along the backs of these turtles here. It's like navigating emotions is quite easy for her. It's actually the card of Cancer. Did I say that already? I might have said it. We've got the 4 of Swords underneath though. And the 4 of Swords for me talks about taking a break. It talks about taking a step back in some ways, usually so that we can process something. Now, following on from the 3 of Swords as it does, often that thing that we are looking to process is pain, right? It's things that have wounded us. And we see here a movement in your current energy. I actually see quite a lot of movement here, to be fair. Anyway, let's get some clarifiers. How about the Chariot and the 2 of Cups, please? We have the Judgment card and we have the Ace of Cups. Let's get one more for that since we've got 2 there. The 9 of Swords in reverse, that's very positive. Tell me about the 6 of Swords, please. Thank you. We have the Lover's card, card of Gemini. Ooh. And we have the 8 of Wands. And then Page of Pentacles. We have the 7 of Cups and the Knight of Cups. Cool. So we have the 2 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. And it's followed by you, it's followed by the Justice card. Now, often I don't like this 2 of Swords very much because it talks to me about somebody who's trying to make purely logical, intellectual decisions. Now, like, you are an air sign, so it's something that comes rather naturally. But it feels like in this regard, that whatever matter it is that you're working through at the moment actually requires the input of your emotions. It requires the input of your intuition, as symbolised by the moon up there. Because being balanced is good and all. It is good, you know. And there's a beautiful symmetry about this card too. It's good, but sometimes if you're too balanced, you don't move anywhere. And what I am seeing here, more than anything else, is movement. So it seems a little bit like a willingness to rock your own stability just a little bit to get something moving, in whatever way that applies to you. So we have here the Chariot and we have the 2 of Cups. Now the Chariot is the card of the self. It is everything to do with the self, really. It's a card of Cancer, and it talks about polarities and duality, and it also talks about balance and alignment. You can see this being a bit of a theme for you here. But it's taking both of those things, the negative and the positive, the masculine and the feminine, night and day, you know, even good and bad if you want to be arbitrary about it. But all the things, we live in a duality consciousness. And this is aligning yourself with that duality consciousness and being able to control it with, you know, control you. and all the bits of you in respect of that. It always talks about incredible mental discipline here. And it's come up with the Two of Cups, which is interestingly then not about the self, but then the bringing on of new people. Because to me, that card talks about intimacy. It talks about partnership. It doesn't have to be romantic, and actually I very rarely see it that way, to be honest. It's more about meeting people who have shared goals, shared visions, you know, being on the same page as someone, intimacy, or bonding, you know. But what we have clarifying it is the Judgment in reverse. We have the Ace of Cups, and we have the Nine of Swords in reverse. Now, the Judgment card talks about a resurrection of old circumstances, past circumstances, whatever, you know, sometimes a second chance energy, so that you can make a judgment on it, right? And often that's to bring closure to the situation for yourself. But I note for you, because it comes out in the reverse, it feels a little more like not having to go back to an old situation here for whatever reason. You know, it seems like your eyes have been turned very resolutely forwards, Libra. And old ways of doing things, and perhaps old levels of judgment against yourself, are being left by the wayside because they don't form part of the story going forward. I mean, we can see that here with this Ace of Cups. Now, like, the Ace is a pure potential, right? And it's emotional potential because we've got the Cups here. But it can be the entrance of someone new, and for some of you that might be it, but it doesn't quite feel like it. It's something slightly different to that. It feels like contemplation of an old situation and realizing that you don't need to go back to it because you have progressed, because you have moved forwards. Like, this often I see as a renewal of appreciation for oneself, right? It's kind of getting to like yourself a little bit and pulling down overthinking. You know, maybe you've been really, really stressed recently, and perhaps there are relationships that have done that to you, but it seems to be like a gathering of perspective now. And with that perspective has come an element of peace. So the Chariot and the Two of Cups seems to be like really getting clear, getting a sense of perspective about the relationships that are important and choosing only to move forwards with those ones. You know, maybe you've spread yourself a little too thin. There could be all sorts of ways in which this apply, but there's a sense of now kind of being like, that one doesn't work for me, I'm going to stick with this, you know. And the piece is strong, actually. So we come to the Six of Swords, and we've got more movement here. We've got this notion of leaving something behind, and that's what that said to me there. There's no desire to return to an old way of doing things. It's moving forwards and forwards only. And we've got the Lovers, and we've got the Eight of Wands. Now that's quite interesting because this is a card of Gemini, your sister air sign. But for me, it's a card of conscious co-creation, right? And it's actually a reflection, or not even a reflection really. It's identical to the Devil card. And if you've never examined these, we have, you know, one big slightly mythical kind of creature here. It's an angel on here, and it's a devil on the Devil card. But then we have two naked people stood either side. You know, symmetrically, visually, they're very structurally, there we go, structurally they're basically the same. But where the Devil card comes from a place of fear and a place of feeling trapped by something, and sometimes that's the contents of our own heart, the Lover's card is coming from a place of love, right? It's free will. And that feels like it's the important bit to me here, because you have discovered your will, you have discovered a sense of self here that is emotionally peaceful and comfortable, not overthinking anything. Like, I don't know what's been going on with you, but it's been a good move here. And now what you want to bring into your life is stuff that actually just makes you feel good. You know, but something that we've seen a lot over the last year, obviously, with everything that's going on, is people kind of reassessing, like taking stock of their lives and going, God, do I really want to do the same, you know, thing for the rest of my life? Who knows how long I've got left, you know? It's acted like a massive kind of memento mori that people are presenting you with your own mortality, or at least the spectre of it, and being, you know, we won't live forever. Do I want to carry on doing just this for the rest of my life? Possibly not. Now I want to align myself with things that make me feel good, things that make me happy, and leaving behind a certain number of things is absolutely part of that. So we've got this Eight of Wands, and there's more movement there, because that's an increase in momentum. I've just picked this up in the Chariot cards at the bottom too. And sometimes it's about communication too. So it could be you now finally starting to be able to put out feelers to those people that you care about and going, actually, it looks a little bit like I'm going to be able to start seeing you, you know, spending time with you. Ace of Swords. And the Ten of Wands, Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, I mean, this could well be family. But whatever it is, it's those people and circumstances that you wish to commit to, right? Having worked out what's important to you, kind of wanting to go in that way only. We've got the Ace of Swords there, which is your ace. It's really clear thinking about things now, and I love to see it over this card, because this is completely the opposite of really clear thinking. And then we've got this here, right? Card that talks about commitment, about structure, about the things that we invest in and that we build for ourselves. What's at the bottom of the deck? We've got the Knight of Cups, the Nine of Cups at the bottom of the deck. You really are focused on the pursuit of your own happiness and the things that make you feel emotionally fulfilled, and that's exactly as it should be. It really is. So what we've got coming towards you here in March is the Page of Pentacles, and I love this because for me, the court hierarchy, at least from the page up to the Queen, talk about different levels of understanding the value of something that often is yourself, but it can be many other things, right? And it fits really beautifully with this notion of you having kind of reprioritized what you want your life to consist of moving forwards, because here you are, you've taken the Pentacle, and now here are the first steps in the month of March, bringing this towards you with this new version of the life that you want to live. Underneath there, we've got the Seven of Cups and the Knight of Cups. It's kind of like you're coming out of the darkness a little bit, Libra. And I don't feel like it's a big, long, dark night of the soul, but it's been a bit touch and go at times. You kind of brushed close to some difficult bits of you. But it feels like, rather than getting confused, you've done a really good job of sifting through the illusion, finding the cup that is important, finding the pentacle that is important, and going, do you know what? This is what my life's going to be about. It's going to be about these things, and not these fucking swords. Not these ones. Not having it. Yeah, we have the Page of Wands. You know, it's increase in it's starting to get excited again about, oh fucking hell, we've got all sorts of cards coming out here. I'll show you the Page of Wands there. It's starting to get excited about what the future holds. But I'm struck by just this night, you know, cup first. It's all about what's emotionally important enough for you to invest in it further. Right? The other stuff is just going to fall by the wayside. You've not got time for it anymore. How about this? Let's get the Empress again. The Empress for me is the card of Taurus, but because of the Venusian link with it, it is sometimes Libra as well. And this sees you going from a rather static, balanced position that we see in Justice to something maybe a little bit more free-flowing, a little bit possibly more chaotic. I just quite like that as an idea. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, and we have the Death card at the bottom of the deck. That's incredibly exciting. I think that you're feeling really motivated to make a lot of changes, Libra, because we've got the Eight of Wands again underneath the death card. Death talks about, you know, considerable, significant transformation, for sure. But maybe it is a little bit like I've said there. There's a memento mori kind of aspect to this over the, you know, over the last wee while. Being faced with your own mortality is a really, really sharp way of getting you to reassess what your life is about, what it contains, who it contains, and what you're prepared to invest in moving forwards. And that's exactly how you were supposed to use the energy. We've got the Wheel of Fortune here. It seems like whatever you've got going on, there is great support for it. There's an expansion of your circumstances coming up. Now that you've done a little bit of work, needed doing, sailing a little bit close to those difficult emotional bits, and then, you know, sorting them out, picking yourself up and going, no, this is what I want. I'm getting very clear about what it is that you want. Yeah. Well, that's nice. I like that for you. So if this has resonated, I'm going over to Vimeo now. Feel free to join me over there if you wish. If not, no problem whatsoever. But it looks like March is the beginning of things getting much better for you, Libra, and I think that's fucking welcome news for everyone, frankly. All right, no, I love you all very much. Take care, and I'll see you soon.